Live, unbridled news this morning. We're doing a show that's true to me. It's called Operation Enduring Freedom. It is our truthful fight against the crooked judges in the state of Tennessee. Operation Enduring Freedom. So we'll explain that as we go. Charles Van Morgan Show. Thank y'all for joining me. So we're downtown Knoxville, and we're going to talk about the enduring freedom, our fight against the crooked Tennessee court system. Come on in. So we're headed to a location downtown Knoxville to explicate this for you. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome, welcome. We're headed to a specific location, and you'll understand when we get there. It's Operation Enduring Freedom today. And we're going to talk about our fight for justice for all in the state of Tennessee against the Tennessee crooked judiciary. It's Operation Enduring Freedom. We're not going anywhere. Let me turn this around. Thank y'all for joining. Come on in. Charles Van Morgan in the morning show. And we're going to talk today what you'll hear nowhere else, because people are afraid to say it, afraid they'll get killed by the crooked judiciary in the state of Tennessee. And wherever you're at, all over the world, listen up, hang tight. We got a great show for you today. You're going to hear what you don't hear anywhere else. It's simply called The Truth from a freedom fighter. Other people are afraid to say what I'm going to tell you because they're afraid they'll get killed by the people in government power that are supposed to be the upholders of peace and justice, that are illegitimate people. So Operation Enduring Freedom. Hang on for the show. We got you a bunch of leaflets to show you. Got a whole pack of them here, and we're gonna talk about a subject that nobody wants to talk about because it's dangerous to their safety, health, protection, well-being. But things need to be gotten out in the public for the public's safety, health, protection, well-being. Somebody needs to stand up against these dirty, crooked judges. Somebody needs to fight them with speech, not with bullets, with speech. Now, they fight with bullets. They'll put you down with a rogue police officer. And this is, let me just put out a little warning for any rogue police officer in the state of Tennessee that feels giddy, that wants to get promoted off trying to hurt me. You're not going to get it done. You're not going to get it done because I don't give a damn who you are. I have a God-given right, just like Tennesseans and all of you all across the world. Don't let nobody fool you. You got a God-given right to defend yourselves, defend your lives. If you're abiding by the law, and in America, if you're abiding by the Constitution, don't let them fool you. You got a right to defend yourself. So any police officer that feels giddy, that wants to take me on for, you'll get a promotion if you take the truth teller Charles Van Morgan out. And even, if you win, you just a martyr. It'll just make the cause more important. And you won't get it done. You won't get it done. And if it's any solace, they'll name a street after you. Maybe you can get the other part of 411 like Lionel Russell. And he wasn't even killed, the dirty liar that he is. And lies upheld by the dirty Tennessee judiciary. And I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I know that a lot of judges, I've met them personally. They're very disgusting. They're stenchy and disgusting, despicable individuals that care more about their power and their pocketbook than they do about the Constitution. So I'm going to tell you the truth about them. They want to maintain legitimacy, like we're ruling fairly. We're ruling according to the Constitution. We're legitimate. We're out for you. That's what the Tennessee judiciary wants you to believe. And in your state and country, they may be the same way. I don't know. I know they are in Tennessee. They're crooked as hell. And they work, some of them work like Judge McMillan out of this courthouse right over here to administer their crooked rulings. So we're downtown. Special show for me is very important, is Operation Enduring Freedom. I'll explain that to you. So here's some stuff we got downtown. We're on this. See, we're active in our civil rights social movement. Steve said hi. Hello, Steve. Are you going for a walk? Yeah, I'm going for a. From Fan Max said hi. Hello. So yeah, I'm going to. We're going to talk about the dirty Tennessee judiciary in the state of Tennessee. See, we got this right up here at the courthouse, at the Knox County Courthouse. So we're not hiding from these dirty judges, these crooked people. And here we got this up here at the other side of the billboard at the courthouse. Talks about paid for, authorized by Charles Van Morgan. So I'm not afraid of them. Exposing corruption. See that? Exposing corruption. Find on Facebook and YouTube. So where you're at now. Lion Lisa tried to steal my second attempt. Imagine that. Justice Clark picked a now convicted federal felon who turned down my law license while she was committing admitted felony dishonesty, saying although I committed no crime at all, I like candor. I seem pretty candid, don't I? It's called telling the truth. They're not candid. They're liars and criminals. They're white-collar criminals. They're suit criminals. They're criminals in robes. There's Justice Connie Clark. There's Lion Lisa Perlin. Look at Lion Lisa Perlin. She turned down my second attempt lying about what I said. Lying, harassing me while I was in a line to take the bar exam. She comes up to me where I had to be in order to get my law license. She comes up to me and then lies about stuff I said. She's a liar. Comes and harasses me. I didn't go to her. I don't go to her office upstairs where she's at. I go to the bar exam to take the bar exam. And she comes over to the line where I'm at and initiates conflict with me and then uses lies to not let me practice law. There's a convicted felon. She was questioning my integrity. Barbara Zulica contesting my integrity while she's committing a felony, stealing tax money from Californians. There is Margaret Beam. What a piece of work she is. What a piece of work she is. Margaret Beam. Margaret Dirty Beam at Tennessee Board of Law Examiners. Power to you, the people movement. See, we're fighting against this judiciary. They won't let me practice law in the state of Tennessee. They won't let me defend you. They won't let me go in the courtrooms because they don't want me to defend you. They want judges. Tennessee government crimes caused hundreds to get killed. Live now. We're live right now, 6:45, but. And if you want to contribute, hit the square icon. Keep this movement going. And vote is what this is about. See, they don't want me to say vote. They'll try to kill me if I say vote. They will literally try to take my life away for saying vote. These people out of office. They have incarcerated me for saying vote. Now, they lie. And I might run for governor in 2026 as part of the tactic to be able to meet people, knock on doors, to get this social movement out and get out the truth about Tennessee dirty judiciary. When you go hire an attorney, you hire one that they pick for you so that they have a control in the attorney's defense of you. They don't want you to have a defense. They want you to have a rigged attorney that's set up for them, by them, and they regulate who represents you. These dirty people in Tennessee government regulate who represents you. Let me tie my shoe here. It's coming a little bit loose. And we're going to go to a location right over here. And we're going to, see, I know how to tie my shoe. They don't even know how to tie their shoe. They are not very smart people because they expect people to lay down and take it. To lay down and take their lies. And I would if it was something insignificant, you know, if they want to steal They want to steal $6 from me. They stole a lot more than that. That's fine. But they steal $6 from hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people all across the state of Tennessee. When they find you guilty of a crime that you didn't commit, they get more than $6, but $6 goes into the judge's retirement. That's why it's hard to, one of the reasons why it's hard for people to get fired up about white collar crime, about judicial crime, about crimes of the privilege, is because it's only a few dollars out of your billfold. It's only a few dollars, but it adds up over time, and it's a few dollars out of everybody's billfold all across the nation. Whereas if you have a street criminal, it's not a crime of the privilege, they steal a lot of money from one individual person, so people get more fired up about that than they do about a judicial crime, which is going on all across the crooked state of Tennessee, and has been, and I'm here to point it out. And Governor Has-Been, the former governor, is part of that, promoting crooked judges that still represent him to this day. He put people in power that rule for him and his dirty, crooked convenience stores. So we're here at the Tennessee Supreme Crooks. It's Tennessee Supreme Crooks, otherwise known as Tennessee Supreme Court. So right here it is, Tennessee Supreme Crooks. Operate out of this building, steal your money. There's many more of us. That's right. Free Palestine. Yeah. Let Israel have a free nation like they're going to have, because that's what God intended. So one of our tactics is to put up flyers all over the state of Tennessee. We put out thousands and thousands all across the state of Tennessee in 2022. We put out thousands across the city of Knoxville running for city council. So that's one of the tactics to run for public office. So here we have a homeless person sleeping on the steps of the hello, how's it going? Of the Tennessee Supreme Court, and didn't mean to wake you up. Apologize. But the Tennessee Supreme Court justices have 2 and 3 houses, and we have people going homeless. And the Tennessee Supreme Court justices have 2 and 3 houses, not from working a legitimate job, from stealing from you, the public. That's Tennessee Crooked Court judges. You won't hear this anywhere else. Come on board. Charles Van Morgan. I am a freedom fighter, leader of a social movement against people in power that are taking away your rights, that are stealing from you and trying to keep themselves in power above the populace, above the millions and millions of people all across the state and all across the United States, pointing out the crimes of the privileged. They've gotten in power and they're controlling our government illegitimately. And we need to band together and fight these dirtbags and point out the truth about them, if they're dirty crooks and they're stealing from us. And a lead in the corruption of these people in privilege is they own the court system. They get to decide whether it's day or night. Not in reality, but they decide based on their crooked court rulings that it's daytime if they want it to be daytime, and they decide it's nighttime if they want it to be nighttime, regardless of the facts. So they own the court rulings because they own these dirty, crooked judges. Hello, and we can get together and vote them out. And that's what we need to do, band together and vote them out. But I got to tell you how bad it is before you decide that you need to vote these people out. I got to tell you about the problem. And as bad as some of y'all think it is, as bad as y'all know these crooked judges in Tennessee are, and they're stealing money from people all over the nation, crooked Tennessee judiciary. People ought to be mad at the Tennessee judiciary all over the United States. They're stealing from you. And yeah, I just said that. The Tennessee judiciary in the state of Tennessee is stealing from people in California. People in California, when they come to Tennessee, Tennesseans, some arrogant, stupid Tennesseans, not all of them, some arrogant, stupid Tennesseans that are part of the elite in the parties, part of the privilege, say, don't bring your California here. How about Tennessee don't steal from Californians? How about Tennessee judiciary don't steal from Californians? They steal from Californians by the federal student loan program. So let's stop Tennessee judges from stealing from people all over the nation. People all over the nation, if you got family, friends, and people that you know in Tennessee, contact them. Tell them, vote your judges out of office. They got 2 and 3 houses, and we got homeless people here in California because the judiciary in Tennessee steals our money. They steal federal student loan money because they retire from the bench, take over law schools. They take over their deans of law schools, like Joe Koch and LMU dean, the former one, and the UT dean, former Supreme Court justices. They take over law schools. They don't do nothing at the law schools. They just get a big fancy paycheck. That federal student loan money that comes from California, New York, Florida, North and South Carolina, and all states in between, Texas, Idaho, New Mexico, they pay into the federal student loan program. And when students default, it's your tax money that these Supreme Court justices get. They don't pay it back, and sometimes the students can. So who does the burden fall on them? Floridans and Tennesseans, judges, judiciary, crooks, get to keep your money. Now, is that fair? Hell no, it ain't fair. It's crooked as hell, and that's why they run the dirty state of Tennessee. They run it for themselves. And Tennessee Supreme crooks. They set up the laws where it's legal for them to retire from the bench, making millions of dollars, and set up the laws where it's legal for them to go be a dean of a law school, and they don't even go to the school, probably just put their name on the door, and get millions of dollars. The average law school dean across the United States gets $500,000. And they set it up where they get millions of your student loan dollars being deans of law schools after they retired, and also being on the board of law examiners. They get student loan money being on the board of law examiners so they can be in a position to be a judge over graduates of law school like me. And just like a judge was on the board of law examiners that turned down my law license after he retired from the bench, and then I was paying him and to be on the board of law examiners. They make thousands of dollars of student loan money and tax money in the state of Tennessee, and then they turned down me competition against them. So they legalized theft. That's like them making a law where they allow themselves to walk down the street and they see a elderly woman or an elderly man or an older man carrying a purse. See, they won't steal it from somebody younger because they know they'll get their butt whooped. But older people we got some rights too, and we got a little knowledge. We don't have to run fast. We can set a trap for you, which is what we're doing now. And look at the evidence. And then they turned me down for my law license after they got my money stopping competition where I can't compete with them, which is a crime, a conspiracy to stop free trade. And they even control the federal judiciary because Tennessee judges decide who practices law in Tennessee, and you can't practice law in the federal judiciary unless you have a Tennessee law license. So even the so-called federal Supreme Courts, the United States federal courts that are supposed to be supreme over state courts, they don't get to decide who's a lawyer in their own damn court. So who's supreme? This crooked Tennessee Supreme Court justices even rule over federal courts, and federal judges allow that to go on unchecked. So when he gets a lawyer in his courtroom, he doesn't have one unburdened, unbridled by a crooked Tennessee judiciary, and they're crooked as hell. He gets one that's controlled by the Tennessee judiciary that he's got to listen to, and he thinks that's all right. These federal judges need to stop that, or they need to be put in jail. How's it going? They need to be put in jail. The federal judiciary needs to be put in jail. They're committing crimes. They're not giving Tennesseans their constitutional rights. So the Tennessee judiciary is involved in theft of money from all over the United States. They stole my student loan money. I've got $20,000 in, it was $20,000 now with interest. It's $30,000. And it's in abeyance right now because I don't have the money to pay it back. It's legal, I'm not default on it. And I'll pay it back when it's illegal for me to do it. But the Tennessee judiciary got, and it's up to $30,000 now, I got all my student loan money. They gave me an education I can't use because I can't practice law. So they let me go to school because I'm paying them. While I'm going to school, I'm paying them money. And so they let me go to school because I'm paying them. And then they forced me to go to the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners rogue, crooked show cause hearing, and I had to pay them to go to that hearing. Had to pay for the hearing, had to pay for the bar exam. So I'm paying them. That's out of student loan money, and to try to make the world a better place to defend people. And they do this to other attorneys too, that aren't going to stand up and allow them to be crooked and commit crimes against the Constitution in their crooked courtrooms that are protected by armed guards, and our schools aren't protected. And then when it comes to competing against them, in order for them to give me a license to practice law, just like them, I've went through law school, passed the bar exam, I passed it twice, just like them. Then they say, no, you can't compete with us because that's taking money away from them. Because if I have a law license and there's a client, and I can convince the client that I'm a better attorney for them than the former Supreme Court justice who's active practicing law, and they are. Or on the bench, and they still practice law, not while they're sitting, but when they retire they do. Like Barker, he was still practicing law, had his law firm, but he wouldn't give me my law license because then it takes money away from him. So you see how crooked these dirtbags are? See how disgusting that is? Keeping money all for themselves. And you follow the money. It's about the money. It's about them, and it's legalized theft. So let's see how many people got in here when it gets daylight. We'll start showing you some of this evidence I got, and got a good show for you today. Operation Enduring Freedom, and we'll tell you what that means. Let's see how many comments we got in here. So yeah, we got 119 people. Where are you from? Knoxville, Tennessee. Are you Asian? No, I don't know what. I got all kind. I've never did my family tree. Is Papa on a Rolling Stone? Yeah, I like the beat. I like the Rolling Stones. Vernon, have you ever left your state? Yeah, white is right. Well, I'm not racist. So, Operation Enduring Freedom. Our fight through speech against corrupt judicial system in the state of Tennessee and in your nation, wherever you're at, and all over the United States. I don't know your state, but people tell me it's pretty crooked everywhere. But I know for a fact it's crooked in Tennessee, and that's what I'm taking care of. And you can take care of your state, your area, by fighting back through a social movement. We can fight these corrupt people in power by institutional means and extra institutional means. Institutional means don't work for us because they're crooked. They don't have legitimate hearings. They don't have fair rulings. It's not a fair process, but we still need to try. We still need to try to do that the best we can, but we also need to do extra institutional means, outside institutional means. Our repertoire of collective action, there's all kinds of ways that we can fight these dirtbags back, and running for public office is one way. We can there's them noisemakers out. We can pass out leaflets. We can go to their meetings, go to their court hearings, and point out when they are trampling on the Constitution, the legal conduct that they commit in their courtrooms, and spread the message. And the use of YouTube. Right now, I'm live all over the world. Tennessee Supreme Court. Right here. The Tennessee Crooked Court. Calling out the Tennessee Crooked Court as privileged criminals that adjudicate, right here, that adjudicate in favor of the billionaire Haslams and his buddy, the Christian Governor High Bills Lee. Point out these people are crooks. They uphold that they're legitimate, that they rule fairly for the populace, that you go in their courtrooms and they'll give you a fair hearing and look at the law and the facts and adjudicate, and that they're legitimate. If you're right, you'll win. And I'm here to tell you, one sole person, and join me, one sole person to tell you that is a dirty lie. That's deception. They will rule for their own interest and the interest of the billionaires and the people in power, and they will lie and they will steal your money and buy them houses and take care of their kids and family on your tax money. That's what they do. They won't give you a fair court hearing. They will steal from you. They will lie to your face and try to convince you that it's daylight right now when it's pitch dark. That's what they do. And they tell you, if you stand up against them, that we have freedom of speech. But yet, for me saying that, I got a right to say that. I got a right to say, and that's my opinion, that's my view, I got evidence, I got a right to say that. But if you say that in America, you're supposed to be able to stand up against the government. You're supposed to be out of First Amendment right to speak out against the government. They can't make no law that abridges our freedom of speech. That's what our agreement with the Constitution says. But if you say that, they can say the contrary. They can say, no, Charles Van Morgan's lying, he's not honest. And they have said it in their illegitimate court rulings. But for me to say they're illegitimate, they're dirty liars, they're dangerous to you. They've cost Tennesseans. This Tennessee Supreme Court has cost Tennesseans to be dead. They have been fatal to you. They have caused people to get dead. That's how illegitimate they are. They caused Tennesseans to be dead. They let foreigners, people from out of the country, Tennessee Supreme Court opens the courthouse doors and lets foreigners come in here to our courthouses. We pay for foreigners coming in here in our courthouses. That's how bad it is. And they give them license to practice law in our courtrooms against us and deny Americans the right to practice law, but allow foreigners to. That's what this dirty Tennessee Supreme Court does. Tennessee Supreme Court right here, the dirty crooks. Now, is that legitimate? They're letting foreigners take over our country. They let foreigners be state troopers, sergeant state troopers. And I got a right to say that. If they disagree with me, then they can stand up and they can say, no, Charles Van Morgan's not right, and he did this, he seen a wreck off the road in the middle of the night, in the middle of broad daylight when it was night. They can lie in their court rulings. They can say there's a tail light on. Well, I can show you a picture. There's not. They can lie. They got a right to. They shouldn't have our places of public office. They shouldn't have our public trust. They can say that I'm not telling the truth, but I can say that I'm telling the truth. They're a bunch of dirty crooks that have power that are dangerous to you. And what do? They put me in jail. In America, I got put in jail. I'm proud of my picture because of calling these people crooks, dirtbags, thieves, stealing your money. It's a dangerous situation. Operation Enduring Freedom. We've been doing this for years. They put me in jail. Oh, he'll shut up if we put him in jail. Does it look like it, Tennessee dirty judges? I'm still out here calling you out for the creeps and thugs you are. You're causing Tennesseans to get killed. You're letting foreigners take over our country. It's 10 times worse than what you think. You better start acting. This ain't for me. This is for you. You can sit back quietly and go vote. Vote these people out of office. You know, they got a new system. They got a new system in Tennessee. The Tennessee system, or whatever dirtbag name they call it. They let the governor, the crooked governor, that gets elected off lies. The biggest lie is he runs on alleging that he's a Christian. I don't know his heart, but I know he don't live like a Christian. He don't run the government like a Christian. He's closed down hospitals. Tennessee's one of the leading states where they close down hospitals and opening up police departments in hospitals. They don't care about your medical care. They want to put you in jail. They want to control you. They don't want you to live free and healthy. They want you to go to jail, so he claims to be a Christian. Wow, I can get people to believe me because I'm a Christian. Yeah, a Christian would have is a follower of Jesus Christ that loves people, loves humanity, loves to keep people alive, and wants people to prosper and be free. Governor Bill Lee closes down hospitals, goes and has parties at his rich billionaire, one of the richest men in the world, Governor Bill Lee, former governor has been, goes and has parties at his house. That's how dirty these people are. So the Tennessee Supreme Court puts me in jail for speaking the damn truth about them. And even if it's not the truth, which it is, you can make up your own mind. Even if it's not the truth, I got a right to say it. I got a right to say it. But they won't even let you say it. It seems a little bit like Tennessee's turning a little bit like Russia, but we run down Russia. Let's take care of the United States of America. Take care of these dirty Supreme Court justices. They're Tennessee Supreme Court unjustices. They're not just. They're liars. They're creeps. They're thugs. They're criminals. They need to be voted out of office. So they got this Tennessee system where now the governor and the Tennessee leader in the House gets to nominate who is a Supreme Court justice. Doesn't that work out really, really well for us? Because the governor is not a very good man. He just promoted somebody to major that's still in valor and was working on the job when they weren't fit for duty. I've proved that in other videos. Let's get away from the noisemakers. So, and the leader over the House of Representatives gets to nominate the judge, Cameron Sexton, nominates judges in the state of Tennessee. He's committing a crime right now. He is getting a per diem, like he's coming from Crossville to Nashville, and getting money, your tax money. It's government tax money he lives off your tax money, and he lives in Nashville. He shouldn't be getting a per diem. The per diem is for travel from Crossville to Nashville, so they get paid gas money and their time and expense to travel that far. But he don't live in Crossville. He lives in Nashville, but he gets that per diem anyway. So it's stealing your money. He's a thief. So a thief gets to decide who's one of your Tennessee Supreme Court justices. So a thief picks a thief to be thieves. That's what kind of unjust system you have in the state of Tennessee. I got a right to say that, and they put me in jail. They might have to put me in jail 2 or 3 more times. You know, they did that to a lot of civil rights leaders, and it showed the public how abusive these people are, because bystanders are people that are not involved in a social movement. They're just members of the public, maybe some of y'all bystanders. And when they start seeing governmental abuse of people that are trying to stand up against the system, and they're not taking a side, and then they see the government abuse, they say, well, they shouldn't be doing that to them. They ought to be able to say what they want to in America. We don't have to listen to them. The justices don't have to listen to them. They got a bigger platform than Charles Van Morgan does. They don't have to put him in jail. Why do they put him in jail for? We don't agree with that. And then the bystanders start becoming participants. So if they put me in jail again, maybe people will see what I'm saying. I don't promote violence. No violence. I'm not for violence. I say go vote. But they won't even let me say that. I point out crimes that they're committing. If they're not committing crimes, they're lawyers. They can defend themselves. They got a bigger platform. They got a bigger audience. They got rulings that people read every day. I've got one cell phone. Actually, I've got one for Michelle too. And YouTube and evidence that I present. If people don't believe it, they ain't got to believe it. Or they can permit theirs. They can present theirs. So why would they put me in jail? Maybe it's because I'm telling the truth, and people might start believing the truth and start voting these people out of office. And better yet, haul their horses' platoons, their line miles to the jailhouse for stealing money from you and stealing money from people all over the nation. I'm calling on people nationwide to get upset, take action about the Tennessee judiciary. They're stealing from you, Californians. Call Tennesseans. Call the legislature in Tennessee. Call people you know in Tennessee. Point out how people in the judiciary in Tennessee is stealing from you. You want it stopped. You have homeless people in your state. You have homeless people. And the Tennessee judiciary has 2 and 3 houses, and they buy these 2 and 3 houses. They're supporting their kids to go to strip joints, and they fund this not from hard work. They fund this from your tax money. So you don't have enough money. Some people don't even have enough money to buy a house. They have to pay taxes. So dirty Tennessee judiciary can have 2 and 3 houses that they don't even need while there's homeless people going on. And they're public servants? Really? I mean, it's not very hard to prove. They're not public servants. They're privileged thieves. They've gotten in positions of power, and they lie, and steal, and defame, and increase the fatality rate, cause it to be more dangerous to you, and they're even gluttons. They cause it to be more dangerous to them. Operation Enduring Freedom. We are a full frontal attack. We're not running from these dirt bags. We're going to hammer them with the truth and get people to listen and get people to act and be motivated. So bystanders, if you don't think that's important, they put me in jail for calling them crooks, for calling them thieves, for calling them liars, for increasing the fatality rate, for making it more dangerous for you on Tennessee roadways, for calling it daylight when it's dark. And when it gets a little daylight, we'll start showing you some of the evidence. Hang on board. Operation Enduring Freedom, Tennessee judges. You ain't seen nothing yet. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of their aiders and abettors. We've got people, crooks in power, that are deciding who gets to be on the Tennessee Supreme Court. So that's a real good system, ain't it? And but we can vote them out. We can vote the people. Cameron Sexton needs to be voted out. Cameron Sexton needs to be investigated. Needs to go to a jail cell. He swore to uphold the Constitution, and like a regular street thug, and he's violating the Constitution. What a dirtbag he is. What a criminal he is. So let me get me a drink here. Operation Enduring Freedom. Hang on for the show. We got some evidence to show you. We got some facts. Charles Van Morgan show. So as it gets daylight, we'll start showing you a little the evidence, and talk about the crimes of the privilege. And we're talking today about the crooked Tennessee judiciary, the people in power that try to maintain legitimacy and try to act like they're doing you favors, when in actuality, they're maintaining power for the rich, powerful elite and committing crimes, heinous crimes against you. And we are fighting them head on. So join the movement. Like, share, join, contribute, and subscribe. And we will fight these people head on, and vote them out of office. They will use violence against us. So I'm just telling you, be careful. Be careful. These aren't honest people. These are dangerous people, very dangerous people. The judiciary is dangerous. And they won't do the violence. They'll do murders for hire. They'll pay other people to do their dirty. They can't stomach it. So they stand away and have other people do their dirty by their backroom deals. And they do character assassinations. Tennessee judiciary do character assassinations. They write some of the most heinous, sick things in their rulings that are false. That are completely false, that you can prove are false. You can say, hey, here's the evidence. Look at this. Look at this car that they say there's a tail light on. There's no tail light on. It's not on there. You can have a scientific expert that they even use to say, no, that's not the way it happened. Here's the facts. You even trust us because you use us. You teach our classes. But they'll hire another expert to lie and use your tax money to pay for their lies. They even use your tax money to pay for those. You pay for them to lie to you. And you pay for them to protect them because they got to have a lot of protection when they lie and they make a lot of people mad. They got to have a lot of protection. So you even pay for the protection to uphold a wicked, dirty, crooked establishment that calls good evil, us, the public, the populace. That's what the Tennessee court system does. In their rulings, they call good evil and lie in their court rulings, and they call evil good. They call themselves good. And they're trying to maintain that legitimacy that we're good people. We don't lie to you. We don't want your money. We don't have 2 and 3 houses. We're not super rich. We don't feed our kids and let them go to strip joints off y'all money. We don't do that. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And I'm here to tell you. They'll deny it, but I don't care. This side is getting out. Nobody will put this side out. Nobody will put this side out. I will. Excuse me, I damn sure will. I'm not afraid of them. Like David, I'll throw the rock, and if the first one don't hit, I got another one. Because I'm not going away, and we're not going away because this fight is not about me. It's for Tennesseans. It's for Californians. We need to stand up and get rid of the Tennessee dirty judiciary. And that'll take care of a large part of the problem. The dirtbag judiciary in the state of Tennessee. Let's fight these dirtbag bastards. Excuse my language. Let's fight these crooks. Let's fight these criminals. Let's get them out of office. And let's don't let them do it. Vote. So a social movement is a collective action. You, me, and everybody. This is how we can fight these people. That protect people acting together for a shared cause. The cause is to point out the illegitimacy of the Tennessee judiciary, how they're not truly representing the Constitution, how they are lying to us and putting out rulings to maintain their power and trampling on the populace, trampling on the Constitution, making it more dangerous for us. And they're gluttons. They're even making it more dangerous for themselves. We're even doing them a favor. And to point out corruption in the state of Tennessee and nationwide, to stop the Tennessee judiciary from stealing from Californians. We make fun of Californians. Don't bring your California here. Tennessee, don't steal from people in California. The judiciary's doing that. Don't let them do that. Crooked people in power are putting them in power. That's what we got, a Tennessee system. And challenging corruption, demanding government accountability, and pushing for fair treatment of citizens. That's what we're the change-oriented goals, seeking social, political, or cultural transformation, we have a hierarchy. That's where the hierarchy is a communication structure. One is social media. Friends calling friends. Call your friends. Call people in California and say, get them activated against the Tennessee judiciary. Yeah, I'm trying to get Californians, New Yorkers, get motivated against the Tennessee judiciary. I'm here, Charles Van Morgan. I'm telling you, the judiciary in the state of Tennessee steals from you. They make it legal for them to steal. So it's not a crime because it's legal theft. They literally, somebody walking down the sidewalk, they make it, the judiciary can grab an old woman's purse and run off with it. That's not illegal in the state of Tennessee. And then they go by their house and the woman starves to death because the Tennessee judiciary stole your money. And then they give their money to their son who goes to a strip joint, who goes and, that's what they do. That's what I'm here telling you. You ought to get mad, Tennessee judiciary. I'm promoting justified anger at the Tennessee judiciary, not violence against them. Vote them out. That's how crooked they are. That's how sick these people are in the state of Tennessee. And communication, friends calling friends. Let everybody know across the world, and I'm saying it, nobody else will say it if they take me off YouTube, and I'm not promoting violence, I'm promoting the truth. I got evidence to back it up. AI won't even let me put this stuff out. They say, it's your perceived. I perceive that it is Thursday. That's not a perception, it is. I mean, AI is even programmed to back up these thugs. It's the way we're all programmed. Let's reframe stuff and say, I don't give a damn who you are. You're not stealing from people. You're not going to convince us that you have a right to life. Cheat, rob, and steal just because you're in power to try to legitimize your theft. That's wrong. It hurts people. It's dangerous to you, dirtbags. So I'm just saying, the hierarchy is not a hierarchy as such. It's communication methods. And I'm saying it loud and clear. Vote these people out of office. So this is what today is about. Temporal community. Enduring. Operation Enduring Freedom. This ain't done overnight. These people are in power. They're good liars. They're lawyers. You know what, 1 million lawyers at the bottom of the ocean is? This is a joke. A good start. They're lawyers. They're liars. They're very good liars. They take a little bit of granule of truth, twist it, put it in an area where it don't even belong, and blow it up, make you think that's right. Let me ask you, are food prices good right now? Can you eat? They're not having any problem with it because they're getting your money. The more food goes up, the more they tax you so they don't have to pay for their food. Operation Enduring Freedom is what this is. This is not a fly-by-night thing. Something's going to take time. We've been doing this since 2019. We're not going to stop. We've got over 500,000 people listening to us in the past few days. Operation Enduring Freedom. We're going to keep attacking these people through voting, through getting the truth out for years and years. We're not going away. I would suggest, Tennessee Supreme Court, resign from your positions, go turn in yourself at your local county sheriff's department, and you can write out the warrant. You know what you're doing. And turn yourself in and do your prison time, and we'll elect appropriate officials. Unless they do that, then we need to put out the truth about them. And I'm here to tell you they're not going to do that. We're going to have to force them we're going to have to vote them out and start a special prosecutor's office to investigate the judiciary and the hierarchy in the state of Tennessee that's keeping people in poverty, closing down hospitals, and robbing and stealing from you under the name of Christian, even operating out of churches in the state of Tennessee. Churches ought to be ashamed of yourself, some of them, not all of them. The church ought to be spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ and ought to be enabling the hierarchy to open up churches, to open up hospitals to care for little children. The churches ought to be promoting the love of Jesus Christ and protecting little children, not having guards, numerous ones, that protect these dirty judges. Move them to the schoolhouses where they have mandatory schools where they're just shooting ranges for rogue people. Put our resources in protecting little children. Churches ought to be behind that, spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. They're behind the hierarchy. And that's not nothing new. The Bible teaches in the last days that churches will turn cold. Well, let me tell you what, boy, they sure have. They're promoting the crooked, corrupt judiciary allowing them to get by with their crimes instead of standing up against them. They closed down a home for children in Texas. The judiciary did. And the governor and Lester Roloff had them voted out. So Operation Enduring Freedom, that's what we're here today. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here 10 years from now. And maybe it won't take that long to beat them. So another thing is 2 arenas. We need to abide by the law. But we have to do extra institutional alongside institutional. And that is speaking truth on YouTube, running for office, and challenging the system and putting out the truth about these people. This is the way we need to beat these people. Operation Enduring Freedom, the crooked Tennessee judiciary. I know these judges. I went to their law schools. They're not fooling me. Here he is, Cameron Sexton. He's one of the people that gets to appoint judges, Cameron Sexton. He gets to nominate these judges. He's a thief, Cameron Sexton. He's a crook. California, he appoints judges that steal from you. He's getting a per diem. He's getting a per diem from, he's getting a per diem like he's living in Crossville, getting tax money like he's living in Crossville, driving all the way from Crossville to the Tennessee House of Representatives. He's the Speaker of the House. And he doesn't live in Crossville. He lives in Nashville, so he drives a few minutes and still collects the per diem and has for years thousands and thousands of dollars legalized theft. Nothing's ever been done about it. He needs to turn himself into the jailhouse. He's a crook. And he promotes, he gets to decide, a thief, a tax thief gets to decide who is nominated for your Tennessee Supreme Court. So a thief decides a thief. That's the way it works. I'm just telling you the truth. They got a different perspective. Let them put it out. They do all the time. I've got a right to say this, but oops, what do you know? They put me in jail for speaking the truth. Wow, it is the truth. Every bit the damn truth. So that's the problem. You can't solve the problem unless you know what it is. You know why food prices are high? You know why hospitals are closed down? You know why you can't get a legitimate ruling in a Tennessee courtroom? Because thieves in power the rioters have invaded our courthouses. Now look at this right here. This right here is one of the House representatives in the state of Tennessee. These are the crooks, the liars in power. This is my termination. The termination of all supervisors in this case is that the pursuit complied with the policy general 411. Oh, they admit I comply with the policies. Wow, I comply with the rules. But it doesn't matter if you comply with the rules. It doesn't matter. That's not enough. There's never going to be anything enough. You don't understand. Going through the system is not going to work. It doesn't work. They even agree I comply. But that still doesn't work because they still take care of you. The point of contention is whether Trooper Morgan drove by the crash and did not stop at the scene. And continued on Andersonville Pike. Of course I didn't, because I didn't recognize that as a crime scene. Now here's, by reading Sergeant Russell's incident report. Lionel Russell, it appears that he became concerned with what he saw on the video while viewing it at the scene that night. He called Lieutenant Ogle, and that's another real winner, and requested CID interview for Trooper Morgan. So yeah, and then Lieutenant Randy Nichols, possible criminal charges. Determination was that no criminal statutes, but the Trooper Morgan action, lack thereof, were egregious. Egregious for look how they're framing this. How they frame it. I complied with general orders, but I still egregious actions. Wow. See how that now. Lionel Russell. The dirtbag, his brother is a sergeant now. So yeah, you know, nepotism. Crooks promoting dirty people. So Lionel Russell, I made a complaint against him because he was making complaints against me. I fight back. Hey, Lord, I'm still fighting you back, boy. And listen to me, it ain't over yet, boy. You affected my little children, mister, and I'm not violent like you. I got something that you will never have, you lying dirtbag. It's called TRUTH. You've raised the fatality rate for all Tennesseans taking me off the road. You're so inept you hurt yourself. It ain't over, boy. I'm out here. No, I don't threaten you with violence. I got something you'll never have. It's called the truth. It's called honesty. It's called accountability. And your house is coming down, boy, running everybody out of the Tennessee House of Representatives. Yeah, you won't run me out of Tennessee. I'm here for the duration, boy. You started a fight you should have never started, because I like to fight, you little sissy girly man. You and your brother. You even got my uncle on your side. One of my uncles that's a pastor of a church. Wow. Yeah, when I was 12 years old, he beat me up, had me on the floor, wouldn't even let me out. Bobby Morgan, hey, Bobby. You and your Bobby Morgan runs down his dead brother's son. Wow, what a hero you are, Bobby. Yeah, but his dead brother, prays to God. You know, there's warnings, Bobby, about don't afflict the fatherless, Bobby Morgan. You help your son. I didn't have a dad to help me. And he goes to church and prays, holds up that Bible. Amen, Bobby Morgan, the Christian man he is. One of his brothers just died the other day. Holds up that Bible, the Christian man he is. Praise the Lord. Won't you read that Bible, Bobby? You dirtbag. I didn't have a dad to help me and my brothers, my dead father's brothers, go along with a creep, Lionel Russell. And you don't think I'll fight you too, Bobby? You dirtbag. Hold that Bible up. Yeah, I get on my knees and I pray to God that God punishes you for your abuse of me. You know what it says about people that don't have a father, foreigners, that if they pray to God, that God will hear them. That's a promise in the Bible. Hey, Bobby, I pray you answer for you dirty creep. Held me down when I was 12 years old, violently attacked me at your house, and then spin it around like me. You ain't getting nowhere, Bobby. I get on my knees and pray that God will punish you. And all the world know Bobby Morgan, the thug that he is. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You're going along with a dirty creep. And he won the House of Representatives. Lionel Russell lied on me. Sergeant Russell lied on me. What do you know? Let me tell you what, prayer works. It wasn't about a month later, Lionel Russell got hit by a truck. God works in mysterious ways. Hey, Lowell, there's other trucks out there, and I'm still praying. I'm still trusting God. I'm not violent like you. You'd like to hurt me, wouldn't you, buddy? You'd like to hurt me. Let me tell you what. I got a right to defend myself, boy, against you and your dumb brother. Look at that right there in my pocket. Come on. Let's see what happens to you. You try to attack me. You know, I got a right to defend myself. That's your warning, boy. That's your warning. You might be, big old House of Representatives. I know what you are. You're a dirty, creep, chicken liar that I'm going to try to take down with truth. You're a liar is what you are. Sit at the scene of a wreck and lie on somebody. Go to the man's house and tell the man the trooper did something wrong. No, you did something wrong because I filed a legitimate complaint against you. And then you lie. Today, 13 years later, hey, 13 more years, I'm still going to be talking about what a dirty creep you are in Tennessee government. That's the Tennessee government, bunch of dirty liars. Raised the fatality rate. So yeah, let's see how many people I got on here now. Maybe I got you fired up. I hope so. So yeah, we got a bunch of people on here. Maybe I got you fired up. That's the Tennessee judiciary, Tennessee court system. Let's fight these people. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about the truth. Collective or joint action. Get on this movement. Get these dirtbags in public power. His friend, Major Stacy Heatherly, that is lying about was not fit for duty on the job, that lied about me, went out to the scene and parked the car where the car I drove by, and then said that she saw the car that I seen set up a fake scientific collection. So we have to have collective or joint action, change oriented goals, and let me show you some of this other stuff here that we got lined up. Operation Enduring Freedom. Come on board. Charles Van Morgan talking about the Tennessee judiciary that puts away the law on these lies. That says Sergeant Lowell Russell is a good man. He's a dirtbag. So, American police departments were far less willing to impose discipline on how officers exercise their personnel. American police are arms of the state government. A campaign to identify and investigate a collective behavior that undermines a group or country. It's a witch hunt. That's what they do when you don't fall in line with their policies. And let's see here. I'm going to talk about some of the crimes that they're committing against you. And here's what they do. They gaslight you. They gaslight you. What is an example of gaslighting? An example of gaslighting is when someone repeatedly tells you that your perception of an event is incorrect, even when you have evidence to the contrary to make you question your memory and sanity. Other examples include denying something was said or done, blaming you for their own mistakes, or minimizing your feelings, all of which are forms of psychological manipulation meant to control you. That's what the Tennessee judiciary does. That's what the Tennessee judiciary does. They rule something that's completely false. The judges in Tennessee, while they're stealing your money, they adjudicate that something is that's true, that's completely false. That's how the judiciary does. While they're stealing Californians' money. And this guy right here they ruled in his favor, and look what he is. These are people that are members of the Republican Party. While I was running for government office, took me off the campaign trail and sued me into court for civil charges, took my campaign money. While I was running for governor, they took me off the campaign. I was out knocking on doors. Hey, will you vote for me? I'm Charles Van Morgan. I'm representing you. I think people in power are crooked. We need to set up a special investigation unit to fight them, to investigate and put them in jail. I'd like your vote. Charles Van Morgan for governor 2022. I was out doing that in Memphis, Tennessee. And thank you, Memphis, Shelby County. I got more votes there than I got anywhere in the state of Tennessee. And I was out doing that, not just like Governor Bill Lee was out knocking on doors. Hey, vote for me, I'm Governor Bill Lee. But he didn't knock on doors. He got a select few of his friends to knock on the doors. He was standing in front of cameras with a lot of people at news stations, getting all the good press because he's in power. He was at his buddy Bill Lee's house, Bill Haslam's house. High bills is what they are. The one that got rich off convenience store clerks. One of the most dangerous jobs in the world. And I was out campaigning just like him, but the Republican Party, through the churches, sued me into court. Look at these people right here. It's not my fault your husband is a deadbeat dad, whoremonger, had a child while married in between your two sons. He violently beat a helpless mentally handicapped man. That's who sued me into court. And drughead, lowlife, violent, lying piece of shit. They attacked me falsely, but this is true about them. So they sued me into court lying on me. Lying in documents that they sued in court. Why? Why do they do that? Because I was out knocking on doors. Hey, vote for me. The Tennessee judiciary is crooked as hell. Won't even give me my law license to represent you. So what does the Tennessee judiciary do? They stamped away the law on lies from these people and sued me into court. So I got to come off the campaign trail and go to court. I can't even campaign. I'm in a Tennessee courtroom. The courtroom right down here, I'm in a courtroom. And the governor's out running around getting people to vote, living the high life, while somebody that's a member of the populace like you all can't run for office because you're supposed to be able to, but this is Russia. You run for office against these people and you say what I'm saying about them. They got a bigger platform than me. They can say stuff about me, and they do. They lied in their court rulings. But legitimacy, the way to put the legitimacy of the court system, supposed legitimacy, the way to law on their lies. They lie from their judicial rulings. They're liars, thieves, crooked. But you run against the judiciary in Tennessee, you run, and I was running against the judiciary saying we need to vote them out. We need to get honest judges that'll stand up for Tennesseans and rule based on the Constitution, the freedom of speech. You got a right to speak out against the government. They won't let you, because if you do, they won't tell you. We'll just sue him into court, take some of his money. So they drug me into court while I'm out running for governor. Wow, how's that work out? Works out real well for the dirtbags. And then say, oh, he did something wrong. That's why I didn't do anything wrong. I was running against the judiciary in the state of Tennessee. So yeah, and here's a couple of people that helped them do that. Sued me unlawfully in a court, tried to get my gun away from me. Yeah, so I got one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, driving a taxi, and they want me to do it without being protecting myself. Yeah, wow, thank you, Republicans. Even Donald Trump don't like Republicans. So they trample all over soldiers' blood. This is Patrick Fitzgibbon. He died in Afghanistan fighting for America, fighting for our way of life. He's got a sign over on a bridge, Patrick Fitzgibbon, and over on Rutledge Pike. Deserves it. Fighting for the Constitution, fighting for America's freedom of speech, fighting for America's right, for Americans' right to carry guns, fighting for America's right to the Fourth Amendment, that the government can't search you illegally, unlawful search and seizure, fighting for our right. This man was fighting for our right to not incriminate ourselves in a court of law, fighting for our right for honest judiciary, for our rights that the judiciary is supposed to uphold, but they don't. I'm telling you, they don't. That's why they arrested me. I'm pointing out, hey, judges are crooked, so they put you in jail if you say judges are crooked. They got a right. They got a right to say, no, we're honest. Van's crooked. That's what they do, but I don't have a right to speak up against them. I'm telling you, let's flip the script. Let's put some of these dirty judges in jail and see what happens for the population. See what happens for your food prices. They'll go way down because these judiciary people are taking all your money. And you see the end of that. I would have been able to bring my case where they arrested me falsely. I would have been able to bring my case to a jury of my peer citizens like I'm bringing it to you now. If you get charged with a civil offense, one of their dirty appointed judges gets to decide it, and they'll say guilty every time. They won't even let you explain yourself or any kind of defense. It's be quiet, shut up, like they did to me in the Tennessee courtroom. You're guilty, give me your money, and go and don't talk about us no more. Hey, guess what, Judge McMillan? You're a dirty judge. You ought to be in jail. They ought to lift your robe up and make you put your hands behind your back. Haul you off to the jail for putting people in jail unlawfully, you dirtbag. And he'll put you in jail too. You can be walking around a free citizen. And if the judiciary in Tennessee or some corrupted government official, Lionel Russell, wants to put you in jail, they'll subpoena you to a courthouse, this Knox County Baumgardner Court, under threat of arrest, and make you go in there and take your rights away from you. And the judge will say you did something you didn't do. That's what they'll do to you. And if that's what kind of world you want to live in, I don't think it is, then hang in there with that. I don't think that's right. You see the end result, not guilty. That's a mugshot I'm proud of. See, enduring freedom. Hey, little Russell. Hey, let's put man in jail. That'll shut him up. Yeah, it didn't shut me up, did it? Because I would have been able to go, not to a judge, that was criminal charges. I would have been able to go to a jury charging me with felonies, serious felonies for my Second Amendment right. Charged me with serious felonies for saying, vote for me. Same thing the rich governor was saying. The rich governor saying, vote for me. Oh, he can do that. We'll help him. But a poor man running around out here saying, vote for me, having weapons to protect himself against violent people, then not only will people try to attack him, government officers will attack him, police officers attack me. But I got a right to go to a jury and tell the jury, hey, I didn't do that. And they know that little step will prevent them from getting a guilty plea. So they put you in jail to make you look bad. But I'm proud of this, not guilty. See, they wouldn't have got their lies past the jury. They took my gun away. You want to see what happened with that? You want to see what happened with that, little Russell? Hey, I still got it here, boy. He'd like to have me unarmed, so he could have somebody kill me and me not be able to fight back. Hey, Lowell, I'll defend myself, boy. I'll defend myself, you dirtbag. Oh, he's a glorified person. Got his name after it. Got a road named after him. Like Patrick Fitzgibbon. Patrick Fitzgibbon fought for freedom. Fought for the Constitution. Lowell Russell tramples all over the Constitution. Got a road named after him. What a sick embarrassment. He's not even dead. What a sick bunch of pathetic people. Sick and pathetic. Vote them out. They're in their meetings say, put him in jail and kill him. That's what Lil Russell and those people are doing. Let's kill him. Let's destroy his reputation where he can't live. Let's destroy him. All I'm saying is pointing out the truth about these dirtbags and vote them out. You know, like a normal person would do, but they're not saying that. They're saying, let's take his life. Yeah, well, you ain't got it done yet, boy, and you ain't going to be able to. I don't think. Here's another person that, yeah, look at that. Yeah. So people got on the bandwagon saying, hey, they're putting you in jail for running for public office. That ought to make you mad. He's a little bit mad, and yeah, it makes me mad when they do stuff against the populace, against people. And stuff can be done about it. Look at this right here. Lester Roloff, they shut down his kids. The governor in Texas shut down his orphan home for people that didn't have a dad or mom. Shut his home down. And he ran against the governor, didn't run for office, but got the governor voted out of office. Let's get the Republicans voted out of office. Those dirtbags that lie to you. See, it's all right if you're African American, you stand up against the polity, you're a hero. But a white man, reverse racism, and I like Rosa. I didn't even commit a crime. They put me in jail. She committed a crime. Shouldn't have been a crime. How about white people? Can we go against the establishment? Is that all right? We ain't asking for permission. We ain't asking for permission. We're doing it. You can put us in jail when we get out. We'll still stand up against you. So yeah, you see the significance. The enduring freedom. Enduring means you can put me in jail when I get out, and I'll get out if you can get me there next time. I'm not so sure you can get me there. I mean, things have changed. I might not want to go there next time. So you might not want to do that. Any police officer feels giddy, hey, they'll name a road sign after you. But you know, I got a right to defend myself. In Article 1, Sections 1 and 2 of the Tennessee Constitution says it's absurd for me not to resist unlawful conduct, abuse by the government. So I'm just saying, the way to law, the Constitution's on my side. So you do you and I'll do me. How about you leave me alone and let me tell my story and decide if people want to listen or not, decide if people want to vote people in power out. I think they do. I hope you do. Join this movement all over the United States. California, New York, Florida, Texas, everywhere in between, North and South Carolina. Let's take down the Tennessee judiciary, not by violence, by voting these dirtbag crooks out of office. And it's a breakdown in Tennessee. It's a breakdown. You won't get an honest hearing in a Tennessee courtroom. You won't hear this anywhere else. Charles Van Morgan, live YouTube, worldwide. If they take me off here, I'll be on Telegram or Rumble. I'm not breaking any YouTube policies. There's a breakdown in Tennessee. You have crooks in power, privileged people in power. We need to take them out at the polls. They'd like to take us out at the firing ranges, at the execution chambers. Let's take them out at the polls, get together, bind together, and take these people down by good old-fashioned way. Vote them out. Peacefully, non-violent, and civil disobedience. Let's see here. We'll go over a few more papers. Sociology is a systematic study of human society. Social perspective, seeing the general and the particular, seeing general patterns in the behavior of particular people. Mr. Comet first coined the term sociology in 1798. And criminology is a scientific study of crime as a social phenomenon as opposed to legal, forensic phenomenon, social arena, values, social rules, draws social response. They're violating social rules, people in the judiciary. So we need a social response, which is everybody get together under one umbrella, Democrat, Republican, not the people in power, and vote these people out. People wonder how sociology affects human behavior, how outside forces affect human behavior, and how we can affect the elections, how these court rulings and the dirty Tennessee court systems hand us a deck of cards that we can't win. With the existing political system, we're not going to win, not now or ever. It ain't going to work for us because of the way they've set up the system. Elmore Durkham, he lived from 1858 to 1917. He was 59 years old. They didn't live long in those days. We're not going to live long in these days because they're shutting down hospitals. He investigated suicide, and suicide is one of the most personal things that you can decide to do. And you would think, how does social forces have anything to do with a personal decision to commit suicide? Private and alone, usually. And he studied suicide and decided that outside social forces have an influence on people to commit suicide. And these outside social forces of the corrupt judiciary, the corrupt politicians in office affect your life dramatically, and the decisions that you can make. He studied suicide as an example of, and it's an example today of how outside forces affect people. And here's how it does it. You'd think suicide, outside forces don't have nothing to do with suicide. It's a personal, independent, psychological decision. But he investigated suicide rates. Investigate court rulings. You'll see how they go against the poor, against the populace. They go against you, they go against me. Every time, doesn't matter if you're right. You can go in court and argue all day long you're right. The judge tells you, shut up. If you start striking a chord, don't want to hear the truth. I'm rolling for the governor. I'm rolling for the governor and his boys. We're maintaining the power structure. That affects your everyday life. So he studied suicide. You think that's an independent decision usually made by yourself? But he determined, studying suicide over the course of years, that people that commit suicide they had low social ties. So he decided that suicide was the result of social integration. So social forces, did have a lot to do with suicide, because it wasn't just a personal decision. People that committed suicide didn't have a lot of more single people. People with more social integration were less likely to commit suicide. People had more friends, people weren't married. Men, Protestants, and wealthy, unmarried, than women and Jews and Catholics. So people that had high social integration, had a high degree of friendships, had a high degree of relationships, and rich people a lot of them are more independent. They don't have a lot of people telling them what to do. The poor, married, rich, greater wealth, freedom, limited social choices. Periods of social crisis sparked sociological thinking, like the Great Depression in 1930. So suicide is affected by social forces, just like you're affected by the corrupt, dirty government and how they affect everybody's daily life. So sociological forces affect people's lives. So this is an article about how unruly movements are more successful. Just like me, I'm being loud and boisterous. I know it, I got it. But they're more successful in their movements in getting acceptance and advantages. We're trying to get acceptance, trying to get people to listen to me and vote and join the social movement. Power to you, the people. And we're trying to get advantages, get some of these judges voted out of office and put in jail. get a special investigator's office to investigate judges and people in power, investigate the governor, put the governors behind, and maybe Mr. Bill Haslam in jail. Have them investigated. The flips being script, the scripts being flipped in the federal government. Some of these people that attacked our president in the previous administration are going to jail. The FBI director's been indicted. Some of these judges need to be indicted. Maybe Mr. McMillan needs to be indicted. And we'll go down here and stand right in front of where they drive in and hold a sign, our right on a public sidewalk, and see how that works out. They might put me in jail today. Hang on, we'll see. Watch live. Charles Van Morgan might get put in jail for holding up a sign against Judge McMillan on a public sidewalk called freedom of speech. See if a judge is supposed to uphold the First Amendment violates it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Hold on, we'll see. Yeah, let's test the freedom in America. All I'm saying is vote Judge McMillan out. Get a special prosecutor to look into his activities about his friendships with attorneys, where you can buy an attorney to get you out of jail, not about facts and truth. Let's see if that works out for us. So yeah, we got a bunch of people on here. Thank y'all so very much. So we'll turn the light off. It's daylight now. So let's see what messages we got down here at the bottom. We'll go over a few more stuff. Then we'll walk down to the courthouse and put this action. Jesus is the answer. That's right, Jesus is. But we also need to take action. This is violence users are 62% more effective in acceptance. People that are arrested with violence, the government using violence is 62% effective over the person that they arrested. So them arresting you tends to have an impact on your credibility. That's why they do it. They know it works. A social movement begins when systems fail. I'm telling you, bringing you facts, the system has failed. It doesn't work for you. From the civil rights movement to the American Revolution, every great change started with people said enough. When government ignored justice, the people became the voice of change. Power to you, the people. So are you saying that's enough? Enough of their crooked corruption? Enough of their lies? Here's one of their lies right here. Here's a judge. A judge is supposed to adjudicate the law that doesn't even obey it. Look at this. The administrative judge Lefevre, it was not administrative judge Lefevre, Judge Richard J. Collier, who decided Petitioner Morgan's appeal. Judge Randall Lefevre reassigned for some unknown reason and dismissed the appeal. In addition, the ruling came out late in violation of TCA Code 45314. A final order rendered to pursuit to this subsection, initial order rendered pursuit to this section, shall be rendered in writing within 90 days after conclusion of the hearing, after submission of pros findings in accordance with subsection, unless such period is waived, extended with the written consent of all parties for good cause. The TBLA cites to the ruling that, among other reasons for the decision, the ALJ found that since Petitioner Morgan has no longer trusted him or wanted to work with him, his superiors questioned his integrity and no longer wanted to supervise him, and the district attorney had no confidence in his credibility and would not allow him to testify in court. The commissioner had little choice but to terminate. However, apparently THP Trooper Sergeant Smith, Trooper Fillers, and Claiborne County District Attorney Jeffrey Everett wanted to work with me because they did in fact, I was subpoenaed. So, Judge Lefevre, I'm telling you about how they violate the rules, how they lie, sit behind judicial benches. Let's investigate. Why would an administrative law judge violate the law? He has to put out a decision within 90 days after the hearing. Has to put out a decision. Unless somebody agrees otherwise. I didn't agree to extend the period of time. I wanted to go back to work, start lowering the fatality rate for Tennesseans. Like I had been for years. I wanted to continue protecting the public. I wanted to continue protecting the establishment lies, their facade of legitimacy. So his order came out past 90 days in violation of the law. The judge violated the law, the people. He was reassigned. It wasn't for an unknown reason. I was being nice. Nice is over. Take off the gloves. He was reassigned because he was a hand-picked judge. This judge will rule for us. Did he get some money? I don't know what he got for it, but he was reassigned. They had a Richard Collier assigned to my case, and then he might not rule for us. Tracy Trotz decided, so he took him off the case. These are facts. Took him off the case, reassigned a hand-picked judge to decide in their favor. A little bit of home crooking, not cooking, crooking. Home crooked to get a judge to rule in your favor. Put out the ruling on St. Patrick's Day. Past the 90 day. Yeah, put a big signal out. But you violate the law, but it doesn't matter if they violate the law. They can do that. You know why they do that? Because they got guns and they'll kill you if you don't put up with their corruption. Well. Let's just see about that. Let's vote them out. Vote them out. Yeah. So, and also, I got a subpoena. They said I couldn't testify in court. I sure got a subpoena from Sergeant Smith and Claiborne County Attorney Jared Effler. Called Jared Effler. Say, hey, did you subpoena Trooper Morgan after he was terminated and they said he couldn't testify in court? He wasn't honest. Did you think he was honest? Did you subpoena him to court? Did you have a meeting with him? Yeah, he did. See, they lie. They said I wasn't honest in Knox County. Wasn't honest in Knox County, but when they needed me, because it was a high-profile case and they would have lost votes, they would have lost legitimacy in another county, then they decided, oh, well, we'll subpoena him to testify. I went to testify when I didn't even get a paycheck. So they're asking somebody, they've taken a paycheck away to keep working for them. That's how dirty these people are. Here's people that got killed in wrecks in high-speed pursuits. But I'm just a piece of meat. I'm just a piece of meat out running up down the road protecting society that means nothing to these people in power. The populace, I'm telling you, you're just a piece of meat to these people to fulfill their purposes. They don't care if they get their tax money and you ain't got food to eat and your kids. They want your tax money to feed their kids and send them to strip joints. That's what they do. I've seen them do it. These are people who got killed in pursuits. I didn't get killed by a wreck. I even slowed down for a red light to protect the public. But the state's trying to kill my reputation, trying to make it where I can't live. But I'm standing up against them. And the fatality rate, y'all got killed as a result of their wickedness. The fatality rate went up 78 more deaths just that year. Think how many it's been in 13 years. How many more people have died on Tennessee roadways because of Judge Lefevre, because of the governor's boy, Clemmy Jr., that ruled in the governor's favor. Funny how that works out, isn't it? It's not a joke when people start dying. How many of you have had people killed family members killed in a DUI wreck? Yeah, I was out lowering that fatality. So there you go. So white collar crime. This is what it is. White collar crime. Crimes committed by persons of especially high social status. Judges. Crimes committed by judges in the course of their occupations, in the course of their judgeships. Corporate crime. Crime committed by corporations as it competes with other companies for market share and profits. So, crimes committed by judges in the course of their judgeship by putting out lies. Putting out lies that damage the public. Yeah, they do that every day. So this is about social control. This is how sociology, this is how I know this. Social control, the subordinate of individual interest to those of the collectivity. Stated more practically, social control involves convincing or coercing individuals to align their behavior with the normal rules of a group. In relatively small, harmonious societies, norms are nearly universally shared. So if it was a small group, all our norms are shared, no big deal. And norms violated or deviant offenders, the larger group to which the individual belongs. In larger heterogeneous society, social control may also take the form of bringing the individual behavior into line with what are nearly universal shared ideals about right and wrong. Murder is an act that generally is not tolerated. But the vast majority of the larger society members, yet social control in the larger society also take the form of, and this is important, take the form of one group's domination of an individual or other group in ways that maintain or enhance the interest of the collected faction, but are detrimental to those of the coerced portion. So they maintain their legitimacy, although it violates the Constitution with coercion that's wicked and corrupt. So the sociological perspective help us critically access the truth of common sense. Ideals we take for granted are not always true. One good example noted earlier is the population notion that we are free individuals personally responsible for our lives. And that's not true. If we think people decide their own fate, we may be quick to praise successful people as superior and consider people with more modest achievement to be personally deficient. A sociological approach, by contrast, encourages us to think critically, asking whether these beliefs are actually true, and to the extent that they are not, why so many people accept them as fact. The sociological perspective helps us see the opportunities and constraints to our lives. So the sociological perspective employs us to be active participants in our society. So just because somebody's a successful judge, and a judge apparently successful, doesn't mean that they own their judgeship. They might have got there through crooked means. They might have got there because they cheated the system, because they didn't do right. So I'm about to show you some evidence right here in black and white to show you how they fired me from the Highway Patrol in 2012. And I read you where they said I wasn't honest, couldn't testify in court. Here's a subpoena. Here's a subpoena from the court system. Like, share, comment. We don't commit crimes. Dirty, corrupt judges, take your guns. We don't commit crimes. Can't you? Okay, here's a subpoena from the Claiborne County Courthouse, issued by the clerk, Sergeant Robert Smith. He's THP sergeant. So they said people couldn't work with me. He wanted to work for me. June 10th, 2013. That's after I was fired, June 10th. So they subpoenaed me to court. Liar, THP State of Tennessee government official Goober testified under oath I could not testify in court, and then he issued me a subpoena to testify in court. So that's a subpoena issued by Claiborne County, said I couldn't testify in court. And then they issued me a subpoena after they fired me to testify in court. Evidence. They lie under oath. He can't testify in court. He's not honest. And then later, when they need me because of a high-profile case, because they'll get bad publicity, if I don't testify, I'm honest enough to testify then when it's good for them. When it's good for them, and I win. I'm not going to, somebody killed somebody in a drunk driving wreck. I wasn't going to let that go by. And they accused me of dismissing hundreds of cases. Look in the news. Type in Charles Van Morgan cases dismissed. They accused me gaslighting of dismissing hundreds of cases. I didn't dismiss them. They did. They let people go free, even some felony that hurt their children, let them go free. And then they blamed their misconduct on me. Wow, isn't that a whopper? And I went to court when I wasn't even getting paid. So who's dirty? They released hundreds of people on Tennessee roadway. See how dirty they are? See how they lie? Lie. Ain't no truth in them. There's no truth in them. So we're gonna, let's see how many people got in here. We're gonna go down to the courthouse and stand in front of the entrance and see. So we've been on here about an hour and a half, and see if they'll arrest me. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. I hope they don't. Abusive process. Misuse of legal or procedural mechanism by officials or authorities for personal, political, and proper gain. So they subpoenaed me into court when I was out campaigning. They arrested me when I was campaigning. Abusive process. They use the legal system to stop you from pointing out how crooked they are. And just like they did in the civil rights movement, they stopped people from saying, hey, this is not right. People shouldn't be racist. It's a color of skin, and that's true. I'm not racist at all. hey, this is not right. People that are fluent, that are privileged, shouldn't be getting by with crimes. They should be held accountable. People that are fluent, dirty liars shouldn't be judges. They ought to be in jail. Put some of the judges in jail. They told me the reason why they wouldn't give me my law license is because I said judges are up for the highest bidder. I didn't say that the first time, so that's not really the reason. So they don't want me to say that. Let me say it very clearly all over the world. Lion Lisa Pearl, listen to me. You told me not to say that. Judges are up for the highest bidder. They're dirty crookhead that said that. Hey, ha ha, you don't like it? You can say you're honest. No, you're not. You're a dirty liar. You said I said stuff that I didn't even say. You lied. And harassed me while I was going to take it, while I was following your procedure. You're a harasser. Lisa Pearlin over the Board of Law Examiners is a lying harasser that don't want me to say judges are dirty. Yeah, your judges are dirty. Lisa Pearlin, you're dirty. You need to be put in jails where you need to be put. Controlling attorneys where good attorneys can't protect the populace, civilians in the state of Tennessee. Only getting lawyers that'll lie for you. Well, let me tell you what, Lisa. We're telling the public, maybe we need to start investigating you. Flip the script. Maybe you'll be in jail with the former FBI director. I hope you are. If I have anything to do with it, you will. Because I'm for the people and you're for maintaining the illegitimacy of the government, people in power. The law or process itself is misused rather than being inherently criminal. So that you're misusing the law. They're misusing the system, the criminal justice and the civil justice system to maintain their power. State crime, crimes committed by government officials or state actors in the course of their official duties, often violating laws or human rights. They do that all the time. Corruption or bribery by officials. Yeah, they do that all the time. These lawyers that win every case, people think that the lawyers that win a lot of cases are great lawyers. No, they're not. They're the worst lawyers. They're the worst lawyers. I've had really good lawyers cross-examine me when I was a trooper. They don't usually win cases. The ones that win cases, they don't have the facts or the truth. They go in there and blah, 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 and don't know what they're doing or saying, and the judge rules in their favor, and you think, why? You know, what the heck? They didn't even cover the case. Why did the judge rule for them? It's because they contribute to the judge's political campaigns. So every time they come into the courtroom, they win because the judge knows, hey, that's who keeps me sitting here on the bench. So they win every time. And the attorneys pay the judges money for their political campaigns. But how can attorneys afford that? Because they can afford to charge more because people know they have a winning record. So it's a little criminal conspiracy going on there where I charge a lot of money because I'm friends with the judge, and if you pay me this much money, I'll win, and part of the money you pay me goes to the judge's political campaigns. That's what happens in the state of Tennessee. That's how these judges keep sitting on the bench. Because the public pays for a defense, and you won't get defended by an attorney that won't play that system because the attorney ain't paying the judge's political campaign. The judges that are paying the attorney's political campaigns, if you want a good judge, if you want a good defense attorney in the state of Tennessee, you want to win your case, don't go to a good attorney because you won't win. They're not an honest attorney. You won't win. Go to an attorney that wins every case because they're paying the judge's political campaigns while he's sitting on the bench. So he'll rule in their favor all the time. It's real expensive because the money gets to the judge. So it's back door, secret behind the bench in the back dark alleyways how they're winning cases. You want that kind of system, you got a lot of money, you'll buy your way out because you pay the attorney and the attorney pays the judge. It's a little payoff system because they're paying them to get their lie out to get reelected. That's just the way that doesn't work for you, works for rich people. What if you ain't got no money? You don't deserve a fair court hearing? You deserve one, but you won't get one in the state of Tennessee. You'll get their crooked form of illegitimate justice is what you get. You won't hear that anywhere else. Charles Van Morgan will tell you that. Join this social movement to put these dirty judges in the jailhouses that they built for you because you ain't got no money. That's what we need to do. And I ask y'all to do that. Vote these dirtbags out of office. So we're going to get off here. We're going to walk down to the courthouse. We may continue this tomorrow. let me say this. That's what Lisa Perlin told me not to say. We'll continue Operation Enduring Freedom tomorrow. It's an interesting topic. Love to talk about how dirty these judges are. You know why? Because they don't want me to, but I'll do it anyway. So here's what she did. I filed a complaint with the Board of Judicial Conduct against the trial judge in the above referenced case. Yeah, I went through their procedure, but they are saying I did wrong by going through a procedure, filing a complaint through their procedure. So don't file complaints through their procedure. File complaints against judges. Fill their system up. That's what they don't want you to do. It's what you need to do. The judge didn't allow me to testify. I got it on tape. I'll show you the tape. I've showed it before. He didn't let me testify. Told me to shut up in court where I'm trying to defend myself. The order of protection was when I was out campaigning for governor. It wasn't an order of protection. It was an order to get me off the campaign trails. What it was, exactly what it was, by a drug head, a violent, dangerous person that wasn't even there. And I distributed flyers around the parking lot of Nashville School of Law. Yeah, and I'll put some more around there too. Maybe I'll put it on public property where I'm allowed to. Applicant distributed flyers around the courtyard entrance and parking lot of National School of Law, which made derogatory comments about judges and the judicial system in the state of Tennessee. It was truthful statements about them. Truthful statements about them. I'll do it again. See, they don't want me doing that. Judges in Tennessee are crooked as hell. They're up for the highest bidder. They issue rulings for attorneys that support their political campaigns. I'll say it again, Lisa, you ain't stopped me, you ain't gonna stop me. It's called Operation Enduring Freedom, Lisa. The truth matters, you dirtbag. People are going to jail, people are getting killed because you're illegitimate, crooked people in power, and we need to get rid of them. So you ain't shutting me up, Lisa. I ain't going along with your program. I don't give a damn who you are. So Judge, you entered fire state the board of judicial contact facilitated witness tampering and referred to members of the board as thugs. Applicant made multiple social media posts which derogatory towards Tennessee. They are thugs. And the Tennessee judge did commit witness tampering. They asked me in the hearing, thinking I'd back down in the second hearing. The first time I tried to play by their rules. The rules ain't going to work. Even if you go along, you're not going to win. So don't go along. I mean, it's just pure logic. If going along, you get a adverse ruling against you, even though you're right. So when you get another hearing, when you try again, I tried again, then don't go along. I mean, you didn't rule in my favor when I tried to play your dirty game. So maybe this time I'll just tell you the little truth, but they can't handle that. But I'll tell you anyway. And so they are dirty thugs. They are dirty thugs. Yes, they are. Lisa, you're a dirty thug. You're a dirty thug. You're dangerous and violent, and you're harassing. You harassed me. I was in a line trying to take the legal board test. You came up to me. Well, I couldn't go to another line to sign in. You didn't have to come up to me. Let me tell you what. You're going to pay for that. I'll say it again. Lisa. Lisa Perlin, sat right beside it. Here's the board of Tennessee. Here's the board of law examiners. Here's the crooks. Robert Parsley, Trevilla Holden, Carl S. Washley, Secretary, Amy M. Pike, Jason H. Long, Tennessee Board of Law Examiners. They're thugs, crooks, liars, thieves, upholding the corrupt judicial system. Refuses to let a lawyer represent you in a courtroom that's honest. Holding down honest lawyers, getting to pick who they put in Tennessee courtrooms because they don't want people to complain on the judiciary. They want them to be able to put you in jail at their will. That's what they do in Tennessee. It ain't about me. It's about you. That's what they do. We're going to walk down to the city county building. We'll continue Operation Enduring Freedom. Lisa Perlin, the truth matters. We're going to walk down to the courthouse and we're going to hold up a sign of a soldier, hold up a picture of a soldier at the courthouse, see if they put me in jail with Patrick Fitzgibbon's picture. And we'll continue with Operation Enduring Freedom tomorrow. Thank y'all very much. It's just a few steps down here. We'll talk along the way if we get down there. Unless we get tired, we may do that tomorrow. We'll just do that tomorrow. Hold up a sign in front of the courthouse. in front of the entrance where people got to go in to the courthouse, and we'll hold up a sign that is the truth about one of their dirty judges, and show facts. We'll hold up a sign at one of their entrances and see if they arrest me, see if they put me in jail. Will they? I don't know. I don't know. See, then I hope they don't, and maybe hold this sign up, see if they put me in jail. We'll do that tomorrow. Thank y'all for joining me. Operation Enduring Freedom. Like, share, subscribe, join the movement, contribute if you can. Help us go across the state. We'll report unbridled news against the Tennessee dirty, crooked judiciary. They ought to have their hind ends put in jail. And we're going to try and see if they will. So till tomorrow, join us about 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm Charles Van Morgan. We'll be live again tomorrow. Last thing I always say is God loves you, and I do too.